I've been asked by a certain Mr. Mitchell to do a video for everybody. So I was going to talk about pairing pigs up. So choosing your boar, choosing your sow, what I look for when I choose a good pairing. Okay, so I breed self dark-eyed white, self buff, and I'm trying to get a little project on the go for crested dark-eyed white and crested buffs. So the latter is a little bit slow in getting off the ground, but we shall see. So I'm going to try and cut and paste this video a little bit so it's not just a lot of me talking, but see how it goes. So it's been a little bit hard deciding which pigs to use in these videos because I've used lockdown as kind of a little bit of a breeding session. So I've just used it as a way of pairing up pigs that I would normally have taken to a lot of shows and under fives, let them grow on and pop them in a breeding pen rather than having them out at shows a lot. So some of them are quite heavily in pigs, so I don't really want to be poking and prodding with them just now. So first of all, your boar. So it goes without saying that a lot of people say that your boar is pretty much half your stud. So I try not to choose boars with obvious faults. So when I'm breeding a boar and a sow together, I want to make sure that my boar has most of the qualities that I want to see in the offspring. Okay, so for me it's good size, nice type, good coat quality, and for my dark-eyed whites especially, they're a nice eye colour. So I like to pick dark-eyed whites with quite a dark eye colour rather than the quite light ruby, which can pop out occasionally. So I find that if my boar has good size, then they carry it on to the babies. Alright, so I'm going to show you some examples of what I've got in the shed just now, and what I'd pair that up to and probably what I wouldn't pair up to see if I can help anyone that's sort of swithering about what to pair up. I'm not an expert. Well, I've been doing it a long time, but I'm not really an expert. I get it wrong. I pair up pigs that I think will make beautiful babies, and then when they come out, I'm like, what is that? So yeah, there's no hard and fast rule. I don't send me hate mail saying you're doing it all wrong. Okay. So I'm going to start with the dark-eyed whites, and this poser is Jack. So he is one of my main breeding boars. He's about 3 years old now, I think, and I've always liked him. I think he's a nice pig, and he's a nice temperament as well, which always helps as well. You don't want to be breeding evil piggies. So Jack is, yes, I'm talking about you. So yeah, I think he's got decent size. I don't want to compromise on size and get tiny typey babies. I think you go down that route and you just end up with really small, sort of overly typey pigs that just haven't got that substance anymore. Alright, they just don't make up to be good adults. So you need to keep the size in. Don't be tempted to get babies that are so glamorous yet they never really make it sort of past the size of an under 5. So you want good size and good vigour in your piggies. So he is a dark-eyed white boar. He is. I think he's got decent type for a boar. He's got good width. Yes. He has decent ear carriage. He's got nice coat quality. It's not too coarse. I mean, he's in his winter lovely guard hairs at the moment, so nobody's been getting groomed at all at the moment. He's a bit filthy, but he's a happy boy. He is currently in with one of my dark-eyed white crested sows for their first litter together. So we shall see what they produce. So this sow is the one that's paired up with Jack just now. This is her first litter, so she's about 8 months old just now, and she's hopefully in pig to Jack, the pig you saw in the earlier video. Alright, so again, she has nice eye pigment, not too dark. She's crested, so I'm trying to get some little crested babies. I don't breed crested to crested. I find it gets the crest quite open and not a nice tight crest that we like. Alright, so again, she's got decent type, I think. She's probably a shade high on her ears. Okay, she's not a hem. That looks like a hem, but it's a line of hair that's really annoying. Okay, and so she's got a decent shape to her, I think. Oh, who is that? Someone choking on a carrot there. Got a nice shoulder, which I like for her. But yeah, again, her ears are a little high, I'd say, if I had to be critical. So Jack has really nice ear carriage, nice ear size and placement, and I think hopefully, where are you going? Any babies that they have together will hopefully have daddy's ears and not mummy's, but it's luck of the draw. We never know. So when I'm pairing up, I want the boar and sow to complement each other. I take my boar and say, right, what has he got that's good? And I try and replicate that in a sow. So if the boar has excellent size and substance, then great. If the boar is smaller maybe, but a bit more typey, then I will choose to breed him to a kind of larger, plainer sow to keep that size in, and also improve the ear carriage in the babies. I find that the plainer sows have larger ears with better carriage. So hopefully in pairing those two up, what you're aiming for is a pig that's much more well-rounded. So a decent size, a nice type, but with that good ear setting that really kind of finishes off a good pig. Okay. The only thing that I ever want to double up on in terms of qualities and traits are those that we would class as desirable in show pigs and breeding pigs. So size, type, although I find that if I pair up two very typey pigs, so really kind of short-faced, possibly with slightly higher ear carriage, then sometimes the babies can come out a little bit golf ball headed, so very, almost overly typey with quite high ear setting, which we don't really want to see. We want a nice balanced pig. So if my boar is very, very typey, maybe lacking a little bit of size, then we would pair him up with a plainer sow with really nice ear carriage. All right. Undercolour with the buffs is a big thing for me. I like it to match the top colour as much as possible. All right, so I wouldn't want to double up on two pigs with slightly lacking undercolour. I want a nice consistent colour in the offspring. This is a young boar that I'm holding back, a buff boar. I say holding back, I've had hardly any buff boars born, so he's being held back whether he likes it or not. He is about 4 months old now, and he's quite a big pig for his age. He's quite long. I'm hoping he'll sort of fill out a little bit and look a bit more substantial as he gets older. Hello. So yeah, I think so. Although he has decent sized ears, I find them maybe a wee bit high set. I'm hoping he'll come down a bit as he gets older. So that hopefully he'll pass on good traits to the babies he produces. I don't think his type's too bad. He's still quite young. Not bad width between the eyes there. Decent top and under. The light is terrible for buffs. It always makes them look either lighter than they are, or darker than they are, or patchy. You can never really see buff's true colour unless you're sitting with them in the flesh. So yeah, that's him. I'll show you an example of a sow I would pair him up with, and one I maybe wouldn't pair him up with if I can find one. Yeah. Just a caveat before I say anything, this pig is actually the buff boar's sister, so I'm obviously not going to be pairing her up with him, but say that she wasn't, this would be a sow that I'd be quite happy to pair up with him, because see, her ear carriage and setting is much better. So I'd feel happy about pairing them up to one, because we're not doubling up on the less desirable trait of having high set ears. Okay, again, decent colour, undercolour not bad, not a bad type. She is young, and I think she's got a nice muzzle, so I think she'll make up nicely. Yes. Now this sow is a funny one, because when she was born I thought she was self. Her crest was so small that it was pretty much invisible. It took me about 2 weeks. I looked in and thought, hang on, there's a crested baby in there. So yeah, I decided to keep her on, because at the time I had virtually no crested sows at all. And she's plainer. She's plainer. Okay, she's huge. You probably can't tell in the video, but she's an absolute brick of a pig. But I think nice ear setting, but a little plainer. All right, so she's got some width in her, but she's a little plainer in type, but she's got that lovely big, you know, that substantial size that I want to keep in my pigs, and nice pink pigmented ears and dark eyes. So I paired her to Jack, who you saw in the first clip of the video, and I'll show you their daughter just now. Okay, so unfortunately this sow's name is Corona. She went nameless for a while, and then lockdown hit, and I thought, Corona means crowned, so this is her name. Okay, so this is Jack, the daughter of Jack, and the sow you just saw. So as you see, I think she has certainly improved on the sort of maternal type, and I think she's quite a nice piggy. Maybe, you know, if I'm being critical, a shade higher in ears than her mum. Okay, but again, that is definitely not a hem. It's an unfortunate line of hair. It happens sometimes. So yeah, she's a nice shoulder, good size again, a nice bold eye, which I think her mum was lacking and that Jack does have. Better width, I think, and just a nice type. All right, so she is still an under 5, and she's quite substantial. So she will hopefully be bred when the time is right. Yeah, I like her eyes. I was gutted at not being able to show her, but that's the way it is. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed my little video. There's nothing really that I had to say that was new or a surprise to anybody, and you'll probably find it very boring, but the aim of breeding for showing is to improve constantly. Breed the best of the best if you can. If you can't, then breed two that complement each other. Don't double up on any bad faults. Try to breed out bad faults. Keep back more than you would expect to keep back in a litter, because you can have babies who are born, dare I say it, a little bit ugly. Bottom hutch them for a while, and you could be surprised. If I'd got rid of, if I'd moved on that sow with the tiny pinpoint crest at the start, then I wouldn't have had that nice baby sow later on. That doesn't apply to obviously non-self marked and tick breeds that are, you know, Taunton white, something that isn't well marked is never going to be well marked. So with yourselves, it's difficult sometimes to know which to hold back. As long as they are well rounded, well balanced, have the potential to develop, and don't have any glaring faults, coat faults, you know, then I will keep them on. I'll run them on. Okay. Harder to do with boars, obviously, because you don't want to have a whole shed full of boars, but don't be too quick to move babies on. I've made that mistake in the past. I think I've let some go that I should have kept, and regretted it a bit. So keep them on if you can, and then they may surprise you. Okay, happy piggy keeping, and hopefully see you out and about some shows, if not this year then next.